don't think this deck needs help against Mono Blood. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. I haven't actually played it. Just, like, on paper, it doesn't look like it needs help. This hand is super awkward. I'm gonna keep it, but it's definitely not. These Roots of Life, though. Maybe we'll be really lucky and we'll draw a Threshold on one. So the Roots, again, they're shardless if you actually play them out, or you can pay one and discard them from your hand to get a resource of one of the two shards that they make. So this one is going to make a diamond, and then this one will make a sapphire off of this one having made a diamond. But then we don't have... I'm through 2 of my wild resources, so like maybe this is super bad. This might be super bad, and maybe I should have mulliganed. You do get to play this Guidance, though, which is nice. It's a Remnant of Purpose. Of course, we drew that now. All right, so this is interesting. I think I'd actually rather play the Remnant of Purpose here, because that way, next turn, I can hold up Bounty or Deny. We might be a little bit too slow. This game was probably supposed to be a mulligan on the draw. Not having anything to do till turn 3. Hopefully they just like Dirtle and don't have a turn 3 play either. Perfect. No turn 3 play is just aces for us. There's an Assimilate. That's exciting. That's interaction. Impacts the board. Grab another Sapphire here. So this deck needs double Sapphire and then single Diamond, single Wild. We might have a hard time finding our single Wild this game. I'm going to go ahead and deny their first bounty here. It puts less bounties in their deck, and it means that their next bounty will also only draw 1 card. It also guarantees we get to use our resources this turn, which is nice. A. Cute. Perfect. All right. What do I want to do here? So we hit our wild, which is excellent for us. So do I want to play the Remnant and pass with Hustler / Bounty up? I kind of want to just... Plays Dirtle Control. Good to know. Good to know. All right, so I'm going to play the Diamond here, I think, and then I'm going to go ahead and play this Bounty of the Magus out while they only have 2 up, because they're likely not going to have a Verdict in their main deck. I'm going to go ahead and play this and grab a non-resource and pass the turn. Sweet. Rewarded with our sequencing there by finding a Bounty again. So even though I played out some cards on my turn there, outside of these copies of Guidance, the entirety of this deck is Quick Speed, so it can play out on my opponent's turn. I kind of like the one with the Faceless folks, if I'm being honest. I actually just want to grab a resource here with this, right? Pretty sure. Keep it in my shard drops. So Treacherous Search costs X, and let's look at our top X cards and grab one. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a resource here. Just want to keep hitting our resource drops, I think. If I would have seen an Interrupt up there, I probably would have taken that. I'm going to play this Remnant of Purpose out. I'm not going to hit my Champion Power willy-nilly, because one of the important things to remember about the Champion Power in this deck is that it shuffles all of our dual shard cards from our discard pile back into my deck. So that means, like, if my Sir Pies gets interrupted, or my Pipit Hustler, etc., I can put those back into my deck to draw them back out later. Candlelight. All right. That's really bad for me. So now I have a decision to make here. Do I want to play Sir Pies and try and race this? But it's, like, hard to race through Candlelight. So I'm going to Bounty here and hope to hit a Deny, I think. All right, yeah, and then we missed tonight, so I'm just gonna go ahead and concede. I'm pretty sure we just can't beat that card, the way this is happening. And again, this is one of the reasons why I put this deck down. Like playing against random, like I looked at the decks that were doing well in the format and tried to build this with those in mind, and then you play against a bunch of random shit, and it's just like, well, it wasn't very good. They don't have Blood or Wild. Silver Talon Adjudicator is probably pretty good here. It's a threat that does stuff. Dingle might not have a text box. They could have Dark Heart. Yeah, that's interesting. I actually just don't have enough cards in my deck to cut all of this stuff. I'm actually going to leave Hawkward turn. I'm actually going to leave the Wayfaring Sharpshooter for the Hawkward turns. It just is like a 2-1 to beat them down, I think. Just go up on threats. He plays Sabertooth. That makes sense. Sabertooth makes sense. Alright, let's look at Smith. That seems fine. Grab a Sapphire with us. Yeah, it came out. They came out really well. I was happy. I was happy Jake tolerated. Declan was really into his costume, but Jake was a little medium, so I'm glad he came down with it. Post reserves, I have a Psychic Ascension in my deck, so I'll be able to fight through a Candlelight potentially, but it's still not great for us if it resolves. Maybe I'm just supposed to play the bounty there proactively, so that way they can't interrupt it. But I think if they interrupt my bounty, I could just windmill, untap and windmill a Silver Talon Adjudicator. It's really, so Sir Pies, in addition to being a 6/6 spell shield, when he's on top of your deck, he flips himself over and you can play him off the top of your deck if you have enough resources. Unfortunately, we don't currently have anywhere near 6 resources, so I'm gonna play this out. Stifling Sting, that's really rude. Alright, so you pick up Pies. It's apparently bugged, so I got to see the top card of my deck there. That's cute. Silver Talon Adjudicator, gonna make back up that health and draw me some cards here. Now it's a threat they have to deal with. Yeah, they need to fix that. So there's a little flipsky poo there. After Sir Pie came back down, I should not be able to see the next card of my deck. Yeah, but we since know it's not an intended feature. We've since been told that is not an intended feature. Rawr. This is my Silver Talon Adjudicator. My Silver Talon Adjudicator is very reasonable. I think I'm just gonna, my hand is so stacked right now that I'm just gonna put a resource on top of my deck. I think I'd like to just, hit my resource drops the next few turns. This looks like a total mess. That deck doesn't have a curve. why are there so... I guess Blaze of Glory technically fits anywhere on the curve. I guess. What does this do? This attacks. You may pay X if you do summon a random terminus of any shard with cost X. Dark Heart. That's certainly a deck. Excruciate's a pretty good card in general. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and pass the turn here. If they want to interrupt another bounty, I just get to untap and, like, go shard Surprise and, like, get them. Whoa, are they just discarding the hand size? All right, I'm still going to play this Bounty of the Magus out. Because if they want to spend a card to interrupt it, that's fine with me, because then my Surprise is certain to resolve. Sounds like a Rune Bind. Okay, that's good for me too. All right, we've got shards lined up for a couple of turns. So I'm going to put this on non-resource, I think. Excruciate's not random discard. Excruciate is you choose and discard the cards. It's a little bit awkward because it does have to have a target. So it's a draw spell you can't play if there's not a troop in play, but it's not random. So let me go ahead and get this one out now. Maybe I should have played... Oh, geez. I should have done that in response. That's a pretty big mistake. I forgot I had... This is post reserves and I have verdicts on my deck. I was like, oh, I played a slow shard, so I can't actually play... I can't actually play deny if I draw it, but there were verdicts on my deck, so I should have bountied in response there. Pretty big mistake. Deny. That's really good. All right, play this, pass the turn. Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to play a cantrip at my end of turn, Ace. I'm pretty sure this Pipit Hustler just, like, mostly doesn't have a text box in this matchup, other than a 3/4 flash, so I'm just going to go ahead and run him out here at end of turn. Is he dead, Jim? Is he dead? They could have another Excruciate here. Yeah, I'm going to deny the crap out of that. Let's get out of here. Get you. And then next turn we'll have to go Shard, play Pies with 8 up. Or play Pies with 2 up, sorry, is what I meant. So don't be afraid to play your quick cards on your turn, chat. Don't be afraid to play your quick cards on your turn when they're low on resources, especially these control mirrors when your opponent has interrupts as well. Just like interrupt their stuff. That's a saber tooth, sure. Yeah. You killed the 3/4. I'm gonna kill you in oh, that's no wait, this is the can't be targeted gem. God, that's so fucking miserable. Do I have any way to kill that in my deck? Nope. Oh, and now I can't. This is the targeting bug they were talking about. So what do I have to do? I have to exit the game. Reload it. Awkward. Yep. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna take like 2 shots at Assimilate. And then we'll be done. So the bug, for those that are unfamiliar, is when you click on a card in your hand and go to that target something, you have to choose a target or you have to reload the client. And obviously I'm not Hawkward turning my Surprise here, so. What's going on, Creatordom? It's going alright. So I guess I have a bunch of resources here. So I get to play this, and I'll lead on Silver Talent Adjudicator here. I've got 2 copies of a... Oh, I boarded my Assimilates out, didn't I? I'm like 90% sure my Assimilates aren't in my deck right now. I can't actually look at my reserves in this game, though. I'm pretty sure my assimilates are in my reserves at the moment, which means my only way to beat this is to play through it. Yeah, I have a PA in my deck, so PA could let me play through it. I have Pipit Hustlers. Yeah, you're right. I have Pipit Hustler. But this thing's unkillable now because it can discard a card and bounce it. Although I guess I can counter it on the way back down. So like I need a Hustler into... I need a Hustler into stuff. I guess I should board these out and leave my assimilates in next time. Awkward turn tags any card though, which is nice. This bounty's drawing 4 cards. I'm drawing a lot of Bounty of the Magus this game. It's nice. So they need 3 interrupts to make this not resolve. Oh, damn it. I need to use the Verdict of the Ancient Kings first, not the Deny, because I need the Deny to tag the Darkheart after I bounce it with Pipit Hustler. To put Hustler back. Oh yeah, there is a Hustler in my bin, isn't there? Yeah, I've got 3 other Hustlers, but maybe I didn't want to move to hand size and discard. Was the reason why I didn't hit my champion power. But like, if I have enough charges and I have enough cards. Think before you click. It's a good thing. It's a good thing the clocks and Hex are like, I probably have to play both of them anyways. I wouldn't be kind of surprised if they don't have another interrupt here. Wow, they don't have another interrupt. And we didn't draw. Yep. I mean, that could be anything, right? Just not even. Just not even. No time. No time for your shit. Another Deny is great. Huh. I probably want to just hustle now, right? Do I want to just hustle now? I don't think so. I kind of want my denies to be cheaper on their turn. And they didn't have interrupts to fight over my bounty. I feel like if they had interrupts to fight over my bounty, they would have done it already. So I'm going to fight during their ready step here. I'm just going to bin Hawkward turn, Remnant. Yeah, I like hustling now so that way my denies are cheaper. I feel like if they had more interrupts, they would have fought over my... They could have, like, dingles, I suppose. But I feel like if they had non-dingle interrupts, they would have fought over the bounty last turn. This also, if my opponent just not bouncing the dark card. Okay. It also means if my opponent wants to bounce the dark card, they have to use an extra resource point on this turn cycle, which is good for us. Sabertooth. My Pipit Hustler is dead. You got him. And remember, I could not deny the Sabertooth because it's an activated ability. Oh, this is... I should have done this for 5. Oh, sweet. Not punished. So, I should have done that for 5 because if they candlelighted me there, I was probably going to lose the game. That's why I should have done that for 5. Mistakes were made. Was not punished because this is a no justice stream, but definitely was a mistake there. Let's play my Robogoyle that they gave me at random here. But yeah, so like 10 out of 10 if I treacherous search at their end of turn here, I'm going to do it for just 4. So I definitely should not give them a chance to resolve Candlelight. Easy block here. We didn't get our bounty back into our deck though. That would have been the real one we wanted. So this for 4, so I have an interrupt up still. Counter their divination here, discombobulate, sure. I have a Dingle to cover a Dark Heart at this point, so I think I'd rather just have the Verdict, just like build my wall of interrupts here. I hit a Pipit Hustler anyways. Play my Totemic Elder. Then we have all 3 of these up, which is nice. Just like this kind of anemic threat is just gonna like probably bring the beat down. And if they kill this, it conscripts a bunch of poopers, so... I don't understand why they're playing this champion. This champion seems really terrible. Like common portals, like they don't have any. They haven't played any looting cards. I guess they have Excruciate. Does Excruciate count as value for looting? Is that it? That we're playing it just to enable Excruciate? I feel like the health total on that champion isn't anywhere near high enough to make Excruciate worthwhile. But I guess maybe you just like don't have better options. I can play the Psychic Ascension plus 3 interrupts, so this is hopefully the game here, unless their hand has magically gotten much better recently. I guess they did just draw 2. Ooh, that's kind of awkward. So if this would have been a little bit more expensive, it wouldn't have been able to get Stifling Stinged. It's interesting. The Deny was looped back into the deck from Robogoyle. When Robogoyle enters play, it puts 5 random cards from your crypt back into your deck. Opponent understands that Psychic Ascension has resolved and Candlelight hasn't, so the game is over. I feel like I'd rather just play Sejas. Sejas generates like card advantage for you as well. Alright, so these were pretty terrible. I want these Assimilates for their Dark Hearts. Hawkward Turn just like doesn't. I just want the extra Wayfaring Sharpshooter. Just like put my 2/1s into play and give them the beatdown. I think so. I could see an argument for the 4th Diggle being there too, just because like Dark Heart is exceptionally annoying, and like if I get Surprise into play, I want to protect him against Dark Heart. Yeah, I think I'll put the extra Dingle in as opposed to this Wayfaring Sharpshooter. It's probably fine. It's probably pretty marginal in either direction. Hex is fairly close to Magic. I always describe Hex as like, Hex is what Magic could probably be if it was designed today as opposed to 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Like the resource system in Hex is like a more elegant version of what Magic does. I think this hand's okay. Sounds like super threat dense. As this like our 1 Psychic Ascension in the opener. Pipit Hustler is the reason I'm Tri-Shard. And like the cost of going Tri-Shard is pretty minimal. And like the wild cards that we're playing are pretty expensive in terms of resources. So, like you don't need wild in this deck until turn 4 at the very earliest. So you have plenty of time to find your wild. And there's only 6 wild cards in the main deck. So even if you're missing wild for a little bit, it's really not that big of a deal. Psychic Ascension basically turns the game, for Magic players that are familiar with Magic Online, into a game of Momir Vig, where every time you play an action, you get a troop, and it self-enables your Momir Vig style game, where your champion power then starts making you actions. And in these do nothing control mirrors, if one person ascends and the other person's like not very close to losing the game, like the game is effectively over because a control deck just can't power through the massive amount of card advantage that the Psychic Ascension gives. So again, don't be afraid to play your quick cards as basic actions if you're not afraid of cards out of your opponent and you want your things to resolve. So I'm just going to go ahead and play my first bounty here where it can guarantee to resolve. Where my opponent is like Stifling Sting and other types of resources available to them. I don't think they have any 4s that could punish me based on the other game that we just played, so this is fine. This card's super good against aggro. This card's one of the reasons why I built this deck, because I found it was another sweet quick trooper in this set. It's a 2/1 for 3 with Swift Strike. Then when it enters play, it deals damage to an attacking or blocking troop. So like generally, this style of deck has a really hard time against decks that like play to the board really quickly. And Wayfaring Sharpshooter is just the type of card that allows you to catch back up against aggressive decks nicely. It's very difficult to get all 5 thresholds in Hex. Exceedingly difficult. If you play some Foxes, maybe you could manage it, but this is... God bless you, opponent. I was just about to say this feels really bad. There's a Surprise on top of my deck, and I really want to draw a resource, but my opponent decided to play a Drop of Chaos. God, seriously? 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 There's all... there's only 2 copies of Surprise in my deck for those that haven't seen the deck list. So the fact that they buried one with that and then we found it and they buried 2 resources after it. Missing shard drops in matches like this is like pretty much a death knell. It's very, very bad. I'm just gonna put this into play. Let's continue putting pressure on the table basically. And you get excruciated here. We're getting Candle it. Yeah, that's probably the end of the game. Yeah, I'm just gonna be done. Yeah, I don't think this deck's very good. It's just there's too many different things in the format. Just our proactive game plan isn't good enough, and our set of answers just like isn't good enough to be able to like play through. I don't know, the deck's kind of cute. Like, if you want to play on the ladder, you'll probably win. I won like 3 or 4 matches with it, but just like there's too many decks that are just like reasonable that are attacking from too many different directions that you're just like not going to be good. You're going to have games like that where you're like, and this deck has a number of resources in it, right? With like 24. Yeah, I have 24 resources and 4 guidance, so like you're still going to miss some amount of the time. Hawkward Turn helps some too, because it Fate Weaves, but I don't know if that's really good enough. Let's try one more in case people want to see the deck a little bit more. I've got time for one more match before I sign off. Get some stuff done this afternoon. Lose a little bit more rank here. I'm actually going to go put another Verdict in my sideboard. I don't know that the control decks are very good right now. Like what my opponent was just playing, what I'm playing. Like these are like garbage tier decks based on the results of the bash, but I definitely don't have enough cards in my reserves for control mirrors right now. What do I want to get rid of? Probably this Awkward Turn. Get rid of this Awkward Turn. And like, while a lot of the cards in this deck line up well against things like Mono Blood, the fact that like Primordial Cockatrice, you just can't interact with it, and it just like strips cards out of your hand, makes it just like still a hard matchup, because you're just gonna get like 2 for 1 out of the game when you can't interact with them. Maybe you have enough to like Cockatrice is the only thing you can't interact with, so you can just like power through the rest of it, but I'd be kind of surprised if that's the case. Probably depends on how many Cockatrices they hit. The old 69 card aggressive deck. Yep. My resources are awful because I have a root and a well. There's a surprise on top of my deck. And this hand just isn't good enough against an aggressive deck, right? That's one of the things I actually really like about Hex is that the fact that we can like look at my opponent's champion and go, okay, they're playing Angus, they're probably playing an aggressive deck, so I can't keep this kind of bad hand. And like this hand's very reasonable. It's got a Bounty of the Magus in it. It's got a Winter's Grasp to interact with something kind of early. I don't think Nile of the Tides is very good. I think Obliterus is very good, and I don't think Nile of the Tides is very good at all, so I'm not sure why I would want to consider having familiars for Nile of the Tides. I think there's literally 0 familiars in this deck. I had the Fox at one point, but the Fox just wasn't necessary for fixing. But I don't think I would ever feel compelled to play Nylea over playing Obliterus. I think there's probably the matches where you want the extra card draw are probably going to have enough interaction to keep you off of having familiars in play. I think in general Nylea is kind of clunky. I guess if you don't have Diamond... Oh, did I have a Sapphire Ruby deck? I don't think that deck's actually built. I have like a bunch of half-cocked ideas that like I get through building them and then realize they're bad halfway in and I just don't delete them. I might just get run down here on the draw. And see, this is a good example of like why you shouldn't play more than 60 cards in your aggressive deck, because like my opponent would like to have this opener that they have right now every single game. But that's far less likely to happen when they have, 69 cards in their deck. Thankfully, our champion does have 25 starting health, but these remnants are going to hammer our health total here a little bit, so might be in a little bit of trouble. Might be in a touch of trouble here. Probably play Remnant of Life for Wild next turn, then play Bounty of the Magus. In a perfect world, we'll draw a copy of our Wayfaring Sharpshooter so we could shoot down this Scapegoat. Heart of Agony. Yep. Blasphemy. That's pretty good. Heart of Agony is a shardless resource. Just taking 5 here. 6? Taking 6, right? Yeah, down to 11. I believe we are dead. If we hit Wayfaring Sharpshooter, we're going to be at a good spot. If we don't hit Wayfaring Sharpshooter, I should probably just concede even if we hit it. Oh, yeah. Yep. All right. Hustler. Hustler's a little bit too slow. All right. Yeah, I should go through and delete a bunch of these decks. This deck's pretty bad. I kind of care about my ladder rank, though, so I'm not just going to concede the match. It's too slow for those. Probably too slow for deny. Drum one assimilate. Sure. Wayfaring Sharpshooter and Hustler should be good against these aggressive decks on average, but on the draw, sometimes you just get run out when they curve 1, 2, 3, 4 out like that. I mean, Diamond Wild Momentum's objectively the best deck in the format, right? It's not even just about consistency for laddering. For laddering, you want a deck that's consistent and that wins games quickly. So the Diamond Wild Momentum deck like checks both those boxes, right? Yeah, this hand is so mediocre. That's fine. We'll die quickly. I'm gonna play this Remnant of Life for Diamond. We'll Guidance for a non-Sapphire and concede. Candles is probably a fine deck too. Alright, we hit our threshold, but we're going to take another 2 points of health. Yeah, Candles is fine. It's like moderately consistent. Does powerful things. It probably depends on the build of Momentum. I'm just dingling anything here. I want to use my resources. Oh, they had a 2-2 as well. Gross. I guess I play Drop of Wax here, because I don't have a shard. I get to trade with this, and I can still dingle something this turn. Yep, Magic this afternoon, Rick. You can always find the schedule at that link there. So I'm going to be honest. I think the Turbo Auctioneer combo deck is really sweet and probably powerful, but there are so many people on the ladder that are playing decks with more than 60 cards in it that's like you actually just can't play it. Like it's really bad when your opponent has more than 60 cards in their deck. Maybe we're really lucky and they don't have a shard and this candle gets to trade with this live wire lasher. The candle doesn't trade with this live. I think they do have a shard. That's gross. Get another shot at a shard. Please miss. Please miss. Please miss. Sting. So this has to attack. So this candle gets to trade here. Silver Talon Adjudicator. Well, that is so awkward. I really want to play it, but it doesn't actually gain me health. I think I'm obligated to play it. Alright, Wayfaring Sharpshooter's kind of great. So I think we're going to stabilize this game because they bricked. People play more than 60 because they just don't understand. Or they just don't care. One of the two. It's a healthy mix of the two, probably. My bird is dead. Have you heard about my bird? I said a bird. Bird's the word. I said a bird. Another sharpshooter. Okay. Okay. Let's see if these sharpshooters can pull us back into the game. I advertised him as a card that can pull us back into games we're otherwise never winning. So let's see if he holds up to that. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I really wish I get that the free-to-play ladder is like good for Hex and stuff like that, but I do wish we had like something on demand that was a little bit more competitive. Like, I definitely missed the old gauntlets a little bit. Miss the old constructed gauntlets. That's smart, spreading the Valors out here. When this is dealt damage, it deals 1 damage to you. All right, so they'll smash here. If they don't have quick speed removal, we'll get to get 2 of their dorks here, and then we'll take 3. If they have removal, we'll take 10. I'll take 5 down to 8. If they don't have removal, we'll be in a pretty good spot here, because we'll get to shoot this, and then Wayfaring Sharpshooter has Swift Strike, so we'll get to eat the Flare Imp as well. Okay. So they saved their imp. It could have gone worse for us. So we go ahead and pass back here. I could be really greedy and like try and bounty for a shard, but like if we don't hit a shard, I just like pretty much die on the spot. So it's outlaw, sure. So we're taking 5 on this combat. To go ahead and sharpshooter, kill the outlaw, block, and they don't have any cards in their hands, so we're not going to get blown out this time. And then between Sharpshooter having Swift Strike holding the board, plus this Pipit Hustler, we should be in an okay spot here. This doesn't deal damage to me, God bless. I'm gonna get my champion power to just draw a card here, see what we find. Wouldn't mind finding another bird. Have you heard about my bird? I said a bird. A bird's a word, I said a bird. If they attack, we will Pipit Hustler, the Flare Imp, and then like block some stuff. If they don't attack, we'll just double bounty. I assume they're gonna attack here, we're pretty low. Yeah, get him. Get him. Get him, Mr. Hustler, get him. Yep. Don't tell me you drew another combat trick. Ding. We're down to 2. Hustler, when it comes into play, it reverts and transforms. So revert means it puts it back to its base stats. Any card my opponent has into a card that costs 1 less. So it turned, in this case, it turned my opponent's 1-drop into a Polyberry Pouch. And then I'm gonna be a little bit conservative and just leave back this Wayfaring Sharpshooter, I think. Maybe I'm just supposed to put the pedal to the floor. I don't know. I have this Pipit Hustler. Oh yeah, they also have this, so it's a 1/4, sure. And then the thing that my Pipit Hustler turned their 1-drop into was the Polyberry Pouch, which transforms the thing into something that costs 1 more, so. Alright, what are you gonna do here, opponent? Deal. Their timing's kind of bad here, because now I get to play this Pipit Hustler out and revert and transform this into a 0-drop. Let's do whenever they gain health equal to this card's cost. So this bounty draws 2 cards because I've played it twice. I mean, okay. I have another Hustler, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and like put the pedal to the floor here and just try and beat them down, I think. If they draw anything sans direct damage, we should be okay here. Yeah, I don't really have anything to change here in my configuration, I don't think. Hopefully it won't be too slow on the draw. If they go 1 into 2, they probably will just die. I don't really know if there's a lot of like bonus, like basically playing the equivalent of like a slide deck with a lot of 1 and 2 drops. If you wanted to make a deck like this better against the slide deck, the best tool in this format for doing that is probably the Frostform Crab. I'm blanking out what its name is, but it's the 3-drop crab that you can Frostform it for 1 as a 2/1. Is what you would want to play. Rhymeclaw, yeah, that's the one. Rhymeclaw Crab is the card that I would put into the reserves of this and Diamond-style decks to make them better against decks like what the opponent is playing. It's a card that just like generally trades 2 for 1. Pretty easy mulligan here on our side, just like no painful resources, no Sapphire. Even if we have Sapphire, we can't really interact with our opponent's board, so like happy to throw that back and look for a hand that has Winter's Grasp or a hand that has Sharpshooter in it. This hand is Winter's Grasp, but doesn't have any other action, so hopefully we draw some non-resources to kind of curve out in the middle. Bonus deck has a lot of 1-drops in it, yeah, so not surprised to see a Livewire Lasher hit play here. Bounty the Megas, okay, well, like doesn't impact the board, but it gives us something to do with our resources on 3, which is nice. I get to go ahead and discard this Root of Life to, is this Root of Life, is that what it's called? It is, look at that, I knew the name, for a wild source. How do you feel about Immortal TCG? Are you asking about the Hex Immortal format, or are you asking about there's a new TCG called Immortal? If you're referencing a new TCG called Immortal, I have no idea what that is. I have never heard of it. So we'll take 4 down to 21 here. Let's go ahead and play this for a diamond. And let's Winter's Grasp this guy, because he gives them a bonus whenever he readies. So I just want to get rid of him before my opponent readies with it. So again, we're looking to draw... our Sharpshooter. We're looking to draw Pipit Hustlers. Looking to draw more Winter's Grasps. It's a good curve. Yeah. Yep. So this thing... Good lord. Well, if Eternal was a TCG, I'd be a lot more interested in it. I put $40 into there. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted for Christmas. I put $40 into Eternal, and just like, I could only have one deck, and I didn't want to spend grinding a bunch of hours, and I didn't want to spend $100 on a CCG that I could never get back out. So like, you know, it's a tough sell for me as a player to like play some of these games that's just like, well, I'm never gonna get my money back out of this. So like it's just gone. So like I don't like spending $200 on a video game is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for me. Especially when like I get similar amounts of enjoyment out of like Hex and Magic that like are TCGs and like aren't just vomiting my money away. We would like another Hustler, another Sharpshooter here, ideally. It's unfortunate. They're just going to attack me anyway, so I'm just going to play this out. I probably should have played this for a non-resource. So this turn, I block here, and then I take 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to take 6, 7, so I'm basically at like 5 here, so I really need a Silvertail and Adjudicator here. Really need a Silvertail and Adjudicator. Yes! Remember, chat, if you have to choose between being lucky and being good, you should always choose lucky. You should always choose lucky. So Silvertail and Adjudicator is like bird reinforcements, basically. It's a 3/2 for 4 with flight. Then when it comes into play, if they have more health than us, we gain 5 health. And if they have more cards in hand than us, we draw 2 cards. Alright, so I'm going to block here. I'm going to block here. Take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We might actually still be dead here. I think we might actually still be dead. This is my best line, though, right? Yeah, I think so. Their async draft is just A+. I really love their draft format and how their fully asynchronous draft method works. Oh, this is so unfortunate. I actually can't play this Remnant out because I can't play this Remnant out because this is going to deal 2 to me when it Diligence is. So then I'll die because I'll take 2 from this Remnant. I'd have to look back on this game and like see how I sequenced my resources to see if I could have like sequenced to get my thresholds back at one point. So, yeah, we are just dead here no matter how I cut it, regardless of what they draw. Good game's opponent. I took 1 extra damage blocking a Sharpshooter instead of a Stalagamage. Yeah, you're right, I did, didn't I? Because the Stalagamage was effectively dealing 3 and the other one was only effectively dealing 2. It's interesting.